Hello, guys. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can. Okay, good. We have everyone. Okay. Hello. I'm glad to see you guys again as well. Good evening, Olga. Okay, everyone's, oh, wait, I lost my, no, it's back. Okay, let me see how many of us are so far. Oh, wow, okay. We have 53. I think we're still missing half of the people because last time it was a lot. But I think we can start. So guys, today we are going to talk about the web testing. What do we do when we come to work and we are told to test the website? Like what are the steps? What are we start from? How we define the strategy? Because sometimes you are the first QA. Let's say they hired you and you're really the first one to work, and you are given the website. And what do? Let's say you have some test cases written, but maybe you do not. And there is a strategies that we use if, let's say, we don't have any test cases written and we have to define the testing strategy. But sometimes we just don't have time to sit for a few months and write our test cases, look at the PRDs, and in that case, we are going to define the test strategy on the fly. And there is a way to do it. So I will be showing you today how we do it. And that should help you in a long way, because each time you start somewhere, you will be able to use the strategy and at least not to get lost when something, is given to you and there is no test strategy, no test cases, nothing. So guys, for the homework question, I think it's better to ask in the community for customer support because it will not be probably answered here unless someone answers on the chat. And no, there is no slides for today. I'm just going to do everything live in front of you and explaining what I'm doing. So because it's recording, you can rewatch it and pretty much rewatch it anytime you need. But really for this, we don't need slides because we are diving into the situation when you have nothing to refer to. Because the real life scenario can be like this. You come to work, you set up your everything, and you're given the website. And what do you do next? That's your call to define your strategy, and that's what we're doing today. There is not much theory here, just the practice. Now, regarding the two possible ways that can happen in this case is one way, you remember we wrote the test cases and we read the PRD. We were able to structure our testing by using test trail, and we just run because we compare the expectations and the reality. That's one of the ways how it can work. But another way is that you come, as I said, and you don't have anything to refer to. And today we're mostly going to look at this case when you don't have test cases. Because if you have test cases, it's easy, it's much easier. You're just running them. You do pass and fail, you click wherever it says to click. But I told you guys, not always you will have them. So let's see what you are doing, how you build the strategy for testing if you don't have nothing to refer to. What would you do as a quality assurance engineer? Now, What I will be showing you is something that we've been working through for like years. So it's not something new. It's not something that no one is doing. No, everyone pretty much will be doing the same. So let's see the questions, and then I will share my screen. I think there is a homework discussion. Okay, so let me go ahead. Oh, wow. We almost have the full class today. Share my screen. And guys, I'm not responding the homework questions because I'm not in the authority to respond to those. So now you should be seeing my my screen, and you see the website, which is called Shop Tools QA, right? Let me remove the chat so you see. Okay, I think everyone sees my screen, because otherwise you guys would be saying that. Okay, so the situation is you came to work and you have to test the website. You are told to test the website. You are given the website, pretty much you see it, right? But there is no supporting documentation, no test cases, nothing. Pretty common situation. Then what you have to do, there is a strategy. So the strategy is you will spend a couple minutes, maybe not couple, maybe a few minutes, looking through the application and trying to understand what the application actually is for. You need to understand what the main thing that people will do when they visit this application, what the customer's goal in this particular website, right? Some of the websites, they are more complex than others, and it's like some of the SaaS products, which you cannot really understand what they are doing, what they are for, unless you read the documentation. But some of them are pretty straightforward. So, for example, this one is a shopping website, and you can tell that's a shopping website because you see Shop Now, and you see some dresses and catalogs and stuff, right? So in this case, you will not have any issues. But if you see something which is complex, then of course you would have to sort some documentation, because to learn some systems, you need more deeper knowledge than you can get just from looking like this. So in that case, if that's something complex and there is systems involved and microservices, then you will be given documentation. But in this kind of websites, you might not. Seriously, you might not have any docs. And that is why for you to understand what it's doing, it should be enough as a customer just to look. So here we see that the person comes to purchase something, right? So it means that the website for the purchasing will involve some transactions, will involve placing an order, searching for the product, putting them into the wish list. All the stuff that people do, those are the things that you have to test. So your first bet is that you have to define the purpose of this website, or the purpose of the application, and then build some user scenarios which will test it end to end. In this case, not only searching for the order, but also placing in the cart, checkout, getting the confirmation message. End-to-end scenarios have to be tested in order to ensure the functionality. Because some people will think that, okay, I don't really know how it's supposed to work, but I can catch some UI issues. For example, this cut-off head. Well, we can, but the problem here is that if you file all the JIRAs for the cut-off hand and let's say missing translations, will it help the functionality? It will not. So if the functionality does not work, then there is no point to file all these UI things, right? Because the person will not be able to do nothing on this website. So first, you always test functionality. The main user scenarios you will test. Let's say searching for something, right? That is something that everyone will do. Let's say they will look for dress, we know it's there. Let's say pants. I don't know if they have pants at their website. Oh, pants. Seems like they don't have, or it's my mistyping. Pants. They don't have, okay. Actually, it's weird. They really don't. They don't have pants. T-shirt they have, okay, for men fashion. Oh, they don't have even men fashion. Okay, let's see if we can find the black dress. Because I've seen some. Okay, it has. It has. So the functionality, this one is weird. This is not really black. Okay, so for the functionality, you would have to really figure out the main things that people would do and test those scenarios well. Once you are done, then you will do all your, this one, misalignment. See, there is a misalignment we see, there is a misalignment we see, but you know, testing the misalignments without putting any functionality into test doesn't make any sense. So the first rule that you are doing is that you figure out the main functionality, what the person, most of the people will do, and you start from these user scenarios. Later on, once you're done with the main functionality, you move to secondary functionality. For example, I don't know, reading some not user guides, but maybe some kind of like questions and answers. You also have to read because it might have some weird information, just a placeholder, right? So that you also have to check. But before you're going to all of these, first is the scenario for testing. Now, if there is a shopping involved, or any money involved, or any data involved, then there is one thing that you always have to check for, is the security. You see this log icon here before the URL. See, it has the log. So when you are on a QA website, it may not have it because it's a test website. But on production, on the customer website, you always have to make sure it has this. So what it is, this is the certificate of this is a certificate of security, and you always have to check for it, because if it doesn't have it, people will not leave money on your website. Why? Because people will not trust. And why they will not trust? Because data is the thing which is almost all the time is getting stolen. And if you don't have this security certificate on the website, it means that the data is not protected, and people will not leave their card information, nothing they will leave. So always check that the production website has the certificate. Now you can see actually what it is. If you click on connection is secure and you see the certificate is valid, you can click on it and see that it's issued by this organization, it issued on, and it expires on March 9, 2023, 11:05 p.m. means that March 10th, it should be there as well. It should be repurchased. So someone from the DevOps team, someone has to make sure that they renew the certificate, because if on Thursday certificate is there, but on Friday they forgot to pay for it and your website is showing non-secure, then from Friday morning, no one will be purchasing nothing. They will just not leave their data. Or if they did not see that it's not secure and there is any data breach, something is stolen, then your company might be responsible. So that is why it has to be secured certificate. You always check. If you know that it expires anytime soon, for example, then write it down somewhere, put a reminder to make sure to check it on production, let's say on Friday morning, or Thursday, the expiration date. You can remind the DevOps saying, hey guys, our certificate expires tomorrow. Just reminding you, we need to pay for it. So you never should allow this certificate to not to be present on the customer's website if there is any data stored. Is that clear, guys, for the certificate part? Where do you check for certificate again? Here, guys, in the URL, this small log sign, if you click, you see connection is secure. You click and you see that it has the connection secure, but you can check the certificate. Here it says it's valid. So if you go in the details, you look at the validity period here and expires at this date, should be always renewed at the same next day. Never allow it to have expired certificate. Very, very bad for the company to have it. Oh, you cannot see the certificate? So that's so weird. I think maybe I need to reshare. Maybe sharing the application only. Just let me do the new share. Oh, there you are. Do you see it now? Yes. It's weird. Some of the people saw it before and some didn't. That's weird. Okay, I think that I shared the wrong windows. Okay, good. So now you know how to check for the certificate. Any website that you go, let's say you go to Jira, you see Jira has it, right? And you can see it's public information. You can see that it has, why it's not showing the certificate? Oh yeah, this is Jira certificate. So see, Jira purchased on November 6, 2022 until December 7, 2023, they have it valid. And any website that you will see the certificate. Go to Google and you see that they have privacy here, see? So as a user, if you guys going to any website and you see there is no certificate of security, do not leave your data, because your card and everything can be stolen very, very easily. It's just because the certificate is there for a reason and it's expensive. You can right-click on the website and click inspect at the bottom. Yes, you can also do that. You can go through the inspect tool, but it doesn't really matter how you see it. You have to be able to find it, because if you don't see it, then it's a problem. Okay, that's one of the things that you have to always remember when you're testing a website. And when you're using any website, seriously, because we all have data breaches, they constantly happen. We have attacks on the website, we have stealing data issues the whole time. And the main value for anyone who wants to hack is really the data. Your name, your credit card, your address. That's why they attacking the website. The hackers are working hard. So if you as a QA pay attention on this, then at least it will be more difficult for them to hack. Of course, there are still people who do it very, very well, but the security testing that is on a higher level is going to be done on by the DevOps. So DevOps will be really making sure that the database is safe and stuff. But from your side, from what you see, you at least have to make sure that there is a valid certificate of security. Can you please quickly go over how to find security certificate again? I have to step away. Yeah, I'll show you guys quickly because we have to move. So here in the URL, you click on this log sign. If you don't see the log sign, there is a problem with the certificate. Click on connection secure. You see connection is secure and certificate is valid. Click on certificate is valid. And you see the validity period. So this one always have to be current. It cannot be expired, because if it's expired, it will show that there is no certificate of security. And again, this is only relevant for the production website, for the customer website, not for the testing website, because here at the test website, we don't have any real data. All the real data is on production, all the customers who leave their data. So now we figured out this is the website we want to test. Now, what we'll do, first we will basically do what the customer would do. They would place an order, right? They came for a reason. They want to purchase something. Let's say they want to purchase this black cross-back maxi dress, and it's on sale. So they can put this in. Let's say you want to place an order. So for the place an order, every step is important to validate, because if, let's say, you don't pay attention on something here, then the customer will, because the customer, they are precise, they want to see the picture, they want to make sure everything is viewable, and they will enlarge, and if you miss something, they will find it. Now, here you see that it has also two prices. Before we move forward, everything which has to deal with the money, with any kind of people paying, you are double checking 3 times, guys. Why? Because if there is some problems with the tax, with the, God forbid, double charge or undercharge, then customer will be happy, but your company will not. So anything which has to do with the money, you test very, very well and very precisely, like if it would be your own money. Customer will be okay if there is any, maybe picture is not showing, but the customer will not be okay if they think that they were tricked or someone tries to take an advantage of them. So that cannot happen. You always look. Especially if something is on sale, you have to make sure it applies the discount. If something is different prices, let's say here we see it's either 20 rupees or 21. So how do we know what is the price, right? The customer will also not know. So you need to find out when it's charging 20, when it's charging 21. So let's say we say it's beige color and we say it's large size. See, now it's showing 21 and 42 as the regular price. Do you guys like the behavior that just happened? Did you notice anything weird right now? What do you think is weird? Right now I changed the color, image. Yes, picture went away, exactly. So that's what you have to look for. You see picture is gone. Just because I selected different options, the picture is gone. This is a JIRA. This is the JIRA. If you see this kind of stuff, customer will be unhappy. It means that it's your call now. No one will like it, right? If you don't file it, then the customer will call and complain saying, hey, do you guys know this website not working? So we're going through the customer journey and you see that there is a JIRA. What you do, you take a picture. Remember last time I told you, watch how to take a picture on your computer. So you took a picture, you are going to JIRA and you create your issue. So let's say this will be a demo because I don't know what the project. Issue is bug, status you don't change. In the summary, what do you think the good summary will be for this particular issue? Who can give me a good summary for what we just saw? And what we saw is that we changed the color and the size, and the whole image is gone. How do you guys would write it in JIRA? Image is not loading when the product is selected. When changing color and size, image disappeared. Picture isn't working on Mac's address page. When changing color and size, the whole picture is gone. Verify page size, image displays correctly. This is more like a test case though. Product color does not change when changing to a different color. Picture disappeared, picture of black dress. Yes, so you guys got it, right? You need to, let's have the random, let's get the random changing color, price and color address change, picture of black dress changes, address and some images removed. Okay, this I like. This one is pretty easy to understand. So let's copy paste this one. Oh man, why I didn't? Copy, paste. So you see that we got a summary for the bug. Picture disappears when changing the color and size. So this is a good summary because that's pretty much what we saw here. We went for the dress, we changed the image, we changed the color and sizing, and we see that doesn't matter. It's black or medium, it's large and white. The main image is gone. So pretty much that will be a JIRA that is applicable for the scenario of changing the options, resulting in the image gone. So what you do in JIRA, you say the picture disappears when changing the color and size of the dress, we can say. Now, description. You have to say that you go to shopdemo.MQA.com. Remember, when I was telling you, when we are writing the test cases, we don't give any data that is changing, right? Like website and accounts. But this is the JIRA, this is the bug report. It's very important to tell the developer where you're actually seeing this issue. So you need to always differentiate. We are not putting any data which is changing to test cases, but we do put data into the description of the bug report, okay? question came, why do we put in backlog? Because it will be triaged. It will be every sprint beginning, during the sprint planning, someone will go through backlog and triage those bugs. So we are not really putting them anywhere. We are waiting until official bug scrub will be happening. Bug scrub is the meeting that we have when we have to go through the bugs, new bugs, and pretty much sort them out. So you're not touching backlog here. Here, go to shopdemoqa.com. You're welcome. Yeah, we're not changing the status. Second, select pretty much, I'm pretty sure it's any dress. Select a product, any product. We don't really need to say which one, because I think that's behavior for the whole website. It doesn't seem like it's related to just one. Select size and color. Expected. The main image stays visible. Actual result. The main image disappears. Now, you don't have to be English professor to write this. You can write it different way, but it has to be clear and pretty structured, because usually the developers, they don't want to read the whole essay. They want to be just go 1, 2, 3, what you expected, what actually happened, that's it. Now, fixed versions you don't need because you don't know which one is that. Priority. So if you know that it's super bad, you will, of course, put it into the highest, but it might be not. So if you're not sure, then you just leave it as a medium priority, and during the bug triage meeting, it will set the priority which is needed. Label you don't put, because labels you only put when you know which ones, and they are all different for every project. Environment. This is important. You have to put where you actually see the issue, even though I'm pretty sure that it will happen in all the browsers, because it's really the website issue, but it might be related to my browser too. So you can say that you tested it on Mac OS Chrome, which I am. But if you want to eliminate the browser specific, you can go in the other browser and try the same. So if, let's say, you see it in the other browsers too, it's not a browser specific issue. It's just how website behaves. But if that's you only see on one browser and you don't see on others, then it's browser specific. So here we are saying that you're on Mac and you're in Chrome, unless you tested in different browsers. Here you attach your screenshot, the one that you just took. I hope that's the right one. Yes, that's the right one. You open it, you attached it. Here you leave it as is. You don't need to change anything unless you know what to change. Assignee, you leave it as well before the bug scrub comes, then you don't assign it. And you hit create. Now, once you hit create, you see that the issue is here. You know that it's demo 363. That's the, actually here in the URL also. So if you need to put it or send it to someone, you just copy paste the URL and they will be able to see same issue as you just created. Good job, you created. Now you're going next, because that's only one. There is so many things, right? Now you found one issue, you filed it. Now you see that when you change the size, the price also changes. Remember, if you go to the other size or the color, I'm actually, oh, it might be color. Oh yeah, it's color. So when you change the color, the price is 21 rupee. When you change the size, it doesn't change. So, okay, so we figured, let's say we want to get beige for 21 rupee. 2. Now here we have to quickly check if it's making sense. Let's say you want to favorite it, product audit, okay, good. You have to test the selections too. Let's say you don't choose an option and you see that it's not letting you to audit, which is expected. If, let's say, you select the color, but you are adding any size, then it enables. That's what you want to check. Because let's say you will leave the color off. See, you cannot add it. Always check it, because if people place an order without the color or without the sizing, if the website allows them to do it, then it's going to be lots of complaints later on, or it will not be able to fulfill the order and send it, because the person who fulfills, they will not know which one is that. Okay, so always make sure that you cannot really place an order which is invalid. And in this case, it will be invalid if it allows me, but it's not, which is good. So you see that we added 2 products, 21 rupee each, rupees. You click add to cart. Now, it returns you here, but it also gives you the confirmation message, which is good, which is what we want to see. If you click on view cart, the data should be exactly the same. It should not be changing. You remember it was beige and it was medium size. The price was 21 rupees and you wanted 2. So it means 42 total. Always check for all the totals and all that stuff. Now, let's say if you want to decide to get 1, the price should be changing too. So you want to update. And the price should be, total should be changing. So you have to test for all these things multiple times. You want to add, let's say, 10 of them and update. And you check for the total. See, the total is correct. Because if you know, people going back and forth, they add something, they remove something. So you have to do the same. You have to complete this testing as close as possible to what the customer would be doing, because it's not like they just put an order, placed it, and gone home. No, they will be removing something, clearing the shopping cart, adding something. So that's what you have to test before they find before they sign to their card. And I see that some of you said that it's now changing to black. Well, here it's beige. I think that's not ideal, of course, and you can file it too. But as long as it says beige and the image is beige, I think that's kind of okay. Of course, would be better to change it. Now, let me see what kind of questions you guys have, and then we will continue. I'm kind of lost. So it's not only the test cases we wrote from the product document we test. Yes, exactly. So in the beginning of the class, maybe you were here a little later. In the beginning, we discussed that this is the case when you do not have any test cases, because you might have some, but you might not. And if you do not, then you have to figure out how to determine the strategy to test it without having test cases. And that's exactly the case. So if you maybe miss the beginning of the class, I think that it's great if you will rewatch it, and we had a really good discussion about what you do and how you build that strategy when you don't have any test cases. Okay. I think this is when you don't have test cases. This is for when you are given the website to find the bug. Yes, exactly. You're right. Thought website have PRD too. Some of them do, some of them don't. So exactly, if you remember, guys, the last time we had PRD and we created test cases. Now is the case when we don't have PRD and we don't have test cases yet. Okay. Good. Would you suggest that we write what we are testing since there was no test cases? That way we have a record of what we tested. That's a good question. You know, you might, but sometimes you just don't have time to do it. Later, when you have time, you will start building test cases, and they will consist of what you do every day and what bugs you filed and what customer complained for. But unfortunately, when you are given to test the website like this, you have to really test it, and we don't have the time to write it down. But later, of course, because you will know the website, you will be able to build the coverage. And if, let's say, you don't have any time constraint, then of course you can add the cases at the same time. But most of the time we don't have an ability to do it at the same time. I see you guys notice the title that is saying black and it's not it's beige. Low priority. Well, some of them are obviously low priority, but if you're not sure, just don't put any priority, because as I said, every sprint we have the bug scrub where we're going through all the bugs and we prioritize them. So if you leave the priority medium as default, it will be okay, unless it's a blocker and you know it is. Will this approach, will you still have to create a test case after creating the bug report? In ideal situation, yes, but most of the times we need separate time for creating the test cases, because if you will be doing 3 things at the same time, testing, filing bugs, and creating test cases, this testing will take you forever. So I would say first we are completing the main functional tests, and then we will write test cases when we have some downtime. Because again, guys, we might not have test cases. We might not even have test cases for some time until we start the automation. So it can be like this too. How are you tracking the results, pass or fail? Here, you don't really track them. You just know that if it's not a bug, if you file the bug, then it's a failure. But if you didn't file a bug, then it means it's passed. There is pretty much no tracking results here, except the bugs that you are created. Does it make sense, Manuela? Do we get emails sent out saying need to be tested if there is no PRD? No, we just usually your manager will tell you, hey, we need to test it, and that's it. You can get an email, you can just be told, but yeah, if there is no PRD, then this is exploratory testing that we are doing, and we're doing our best to predict what kind of issues customer will see on the fly. Okay, welcome guys, I think we cleared it. Now, what you do next, you see that you have to place an order pretty much, but before you test this cart very, very well, you clear it a few times, you add the new things, you're making sure totals and prices and name of the products are the same. So you really put some attention on this one. Now, you see there is a discount code. Discount codes are the coupon codes. This is the field that is abused by the customer, I would say. And people will try to hack it, because if they can get a discount, they will try to hack it. It's your job to make sure that they cannot do that. So how do you do that? In discount code, you have to really test the way that the customer would do. What the customer will try. They will maybe search online for some discount codes for Shop Demo QA. This one doesn't have it, but let's say for Macy's, they will try to find some discount code online. And let's say you say, Macy's discount codes. And here, maybe you find some codes which, I don't know, maybe this one has. There is some. I want to get something which is looking like a code. Something to give you an idea what people will try to put there. Let's say 8% back. This is a discount code which works for some places, but not necessarily is going to work. It should not work for your website, in fact, right? So you will try this code, and you expect that it will not give you discount, because this is not the code that your company produced. That is some like really code from some website, Macy's or wherever it is. And if you apply it, you don't expect any discount to happen, which it didn't, right? So then you will try any random value, because maybe system doesn't validate. How you know? You apply it. Coupon does not exist. Very good. This is what you expect, okay? Now, you will try some coupons which expired. Maybe you had a coupon for this website. Let's say it's Sephora. You work for Sephora company, and you know there is a bunch of discount codes, right? But if they expired yesterday, you should try them and see if they will work. You expect that they do not work. If they expired on middle of the night yesterday, so today they should not be working. If there is some future codes which only start, let's say, in 2 weeks from now, you have to try it. You have to try the, or whatever it is. You know all these codes have this kind of values, and you apply. You expect that it's not taking it. So basically, where do we get the test codes? You can generate them. Usually every company that can issue coupons, they have a system to create those coupons to give to people. And when you create those coupons for testing, you will be told how to do it, or maybe developers can share some coupons with you, but you need to know what they do. If let's say this is $10 off, then you test that it's really $10 off. If it's 10% off, you're testing it's really 10% off. If it's the future code, it didn't start yet, it should not work. If it's expired, it should not work. There is also codes which are non-combinable. You have two codes, one is 10% off, one is 20% off. You cannot apply both, right? You have to test them. So let's say, for example, you tested very nicely from here, you found no coupons that works, and you found some which supposed to be working, and they do work. Now, you're pretty much done from here. You see in the totals, it should reflect, because we don't have coupons here, then the total did not change, but usually it would. You click proceed to checkout. And here you have a huge testing to come. First of all, see it's asking you for the coupon again. If you already applied the coupon, it should not be double applied. And you have to test all the coupons that you tested on the previous page, you test them here. because they should not double apply. They should not be combinable. For example, you applied the 20% off at the previous page. Now here you think, oh, I have another coupon and I will apply it here. If those coupons are not combinable, which most of the times they are not, you should get a rejection here. Unless it's a combinable coupon, rarely, but it can be, then it should apply. So you need to know which coupons are which. Now, how you get them? Again, you either generate them yourself, it should be pretty easy, like everyone has it, or you just ask developers saying, hey guys, do you have any test coupons that I can try? And they will give you all those coupons, you just need to apply them and see. Now, test it very, very, very well, guys, because as I said, if there is two ways out. If you test it badly, then first, the customer will get upset if you overcharge him, or your company will get upset if you undercharge. So in both cases, you will be the one to respond, and you don't want to be guilty in that. That is why everything which deals with money, you test well. Okay? Any questions on that? You mentioned coming into office. I thought we are working online. Someone will work online, someone that will be in office, of course. Where is the date? Date for the coupon will be configured when this coupon is configured. Let's say when you go to Sephora and you pay for something, they can give you this kind of nice piece of paper saying, oh, for the President's Day, we have 20% off. This is your coupon code, and it will start working, let's say, the day before President's Day. So you know right now it's still not working. And if you try it, it should not give you discount. But on the right date, when it's a President's Day, particular date, then it should give you discount. So that's where the dates are configured. I worked for Sephora. Oh, nice. Okay, looks like all good. Is this the example web page we'll be using for our homework? One of them you can use if you want. For your homework, as far as I remember, you can use any application that you want. This is one of them, but really there is more than this. Okay, if there is no more questions, then continue. Basically, guys, from that whole story that I was telling you right now for an hour, you need to understand that you start with functionality, with main functionality of what the customer will do. And if the customer paying for something, placing any orders, putting their money, their information, you have to put lots of time to make sure that those scenarios are very, very well tested. Because unhappy customer means lost customer, means company is unhappy, means you can lose the job. We had a situation at Apple at a different department. Basically, we had a new, I think it was a new iPhone coming, and they had to test the website very, very well. It was a few years ago. To make sure that when it's available at midnight, at some particular date, lots of people will be clicking and the site has to work properly. So it was long time testing, the whole department was working on it, so many people. Then when this iPhone became live, people went on this website, started clicking, and guess what? It crashed. It completely died. So next day, the whole department, or whole QA department with their manager was fired because they had to make sure that the load and stress testing are done well. And even though we are not really doing load and stress because we cannot do it by hand, but the manager had to make sure that there are people who will test the stability of this website. So what I'm saying is that sometimes you can just get into this situation when you don't test well and you're responsible. Maybe the whole website is not gonna die, but if it's overcharged, undercharged, crash, or anything, then so many questions will be asked QA department that it's not good to have, I'm telling you, because all of us had the situation, and once you will start working, you will know that it's better to really test it well, because the customer will be unhappy, and then your CEO will come to you and ask why you didn't test it right, and you don't know what to say, right? So this is the situation that can happen, and of course, you cannot predict everything, but you have to predict what the customer will do, okay? Will employers provide the equipment for us to work? Yes, they will. You are not using your personal computers now. They will give you. When you shop for PS4 limited product, the website Best Buy crashed. See, that's, and I'm telling you, the Best Buy QA department will be in trouble, because for that we have to have the load and stress testing. We have to make sure that when we expect some amount of people, we load the website and we see if it can handle. When we don't expect a particular amount of people, we do the stress test. We give more than we can process and see what the website should be doing. And it should handle it gracefully. It should not crash, never. So there are ways to do it, but this is a little different topic. If you have time or if you have questions, we can discuss it later. But for now, we can concentrate on this. The QA do the stress test. They do, but not all the QA do stress test. We have the performance engineers who can do stress test. Basically, we can, theoretically, we can use the tools such as Load Runner and do it, but it requires more skills than most of the manual QA have. So if you are interested in, let's say, in load testing or stress testing, you should be learning after you done with this course, or in parallel, you can see how the load and stress works. It's specific tools that we are using, and this is little different. So this is performance QA engineer who will be doing it. We are not really doing it. Okay, now, so in billing details, we have to test very well also. You see some of the data is required because it's mentioned here, you see the red star. Now, if, of course, what you need to do, you need to forget to put some of these, right? You will put something which is not required. You can put some region, you can put some postcode, or it pre-filled it. You can put some information, but leave the important one, the one which is required, and try to place an order. See, you cannot, which is good. Now, it says, you did not agree. Okay, I will agree. And then I disagree. Because we can trick the site. It will think that we sent the data to the server, but we didn't. Okay. Now, first name we will put, last name we will not, and place an order. Billing last name is required. Good. Read them and accept the terms and conditions. Okay. Oh, sorry. Guys, gone. Okay, now it should be back. Do you see my website? Because it's gone for like a minute. Yes, okay, good. Now, you put the last name, but you did not agree to the conditions. You try to place an order. See, it's not letting you. Nice. Now you can tweak different way. Now you agree to this. Everything is good. But there is a thing which is super important. any shipping where you have any kind of address thing, which is called address validation. It's backend validation. It's done on the server, and it has to make sure that the address is right. How it's checking it? It will check the street address, state, and the zip code. Sometimes it will also check for the city, which means it's complete validation. So let's say we want to tweak it. We will keep the street address. We will maybe keep the city Sacramento, but we can change the state and see if it validates it. Because see, the zip code and the street address and city should not be matching Alabama, right? But we don't know if it will accept it or not. People accidentally select the Alabama instead of California. Now, place an order. See what it did? Did you guys see what it did? It did not validate. Means that bunch of people who will mistype their address or accidentally select different state will not receive their order. So the company will stuck with bunch of orders which they cannot really ship. And if this backend validation for the address is wrong, then of course it's really bad bug. It's a high priority bug, and you will write it right away. You would have to take a picture of this flow. You might need to really redo it. You might need to go back, test it again, check the screenshots, take them, and put them into Jira. So, is anyone here from the group did not understand what just happened? Someone is screwed up, exactly. The company is screwed up because they will not be able to send it. Very clear. Okay, I understand. Got it. Clear. Makes sense. Okay, good. So we are on the same page. Okay, good. Perfect. Now, what do? You saw that it's a bug. And luckily for you, you remember what you just did. So to file this, you will just do exactly the same. You go to your website. I'm pretty sure it will do with every product. Let's say this one. Doesn't really matter which one, because the validation, if it doesn't work, it will not work. And most likely, 99.9%, it will not be working in all the systems because backend is done on the server side. And if the server is not validating, it will not validate in Chrome, in Safari, in everywhere. It's not really done on the front end. So look, we are selecting anything because we need to recreate the issue to take the screenshot. This is known, we know it. And we add to cart and we proceed to view cart. Here we don't really test much because we need the screenshots. Oh no, you don't need to continue shopping. You go back to cart. And from proceed to checkout, this one, what you need to take a picture. So you will pre-fill everything as it should be. Oh, see, it actually stored everything. So you just need to take a screenshot for this selection. And you know that the address, the street address, the city, and the zip code is not matching Alabama state. So that's the problem. And you took the screenshot, you place an order. You need to agree. You place an order. And you see that it's giving you confirmation number. You also will take a screenshot. You go to Jira. You create. And here you will say that the address validation is not working well on the website. Basically, you are saying that, hey, that's what I did. In the description, you are saying that go to shopdemoqa.com, place any item in the cart, proceed to checkout, in the address, put an address for, let's say, Sacramento. You can give the address that you tried, or you can just say that provide the address for Sacramento, but select Alabama for the state. Expected. Oh, no, you have to actually say that you place an order. Number 5, click place an order. Expected. Order is not placed because the address is validated and is not correct. Actual order is placed. Now, here you would have to say that priority is, of course, high. Maybe not highest because we don't know how many people will mistype, but it's high. And if, let's say, your manager will want to raise it to the highest, he can. But for now, you can just say that it's high. Environment, as I said, it's going to be in every browser, but you can say that you're on Mac OS Chrome. You put the screenshots that you just took. There was 2. You open them. Assign automatic, create a Jira. Now, you created the Jira. It's very important, Jira. You have it. And now you will just continue testing. And then once it's done, once it will be in done state and it will come to you, then you will retest it and make sure it's not happening again. Okay? Of course, you're going to be doing much more testing than this, but this is just one user journey that already has a big bug, right? And there is much more than that. We will continue after the break. And let me see the questions. Which page are we going to take screenshots? The page that has the data which is used by developers to understand. In this case, it's going to be the address page. Can you just say enter invalid address? You can, but you need to define what is the invalid address, really, because invalid address can be completely invalid and then it can validate it. But if there is a particular thing that's not getting validated, then if you just say put invalid address, they will put just random data, it will get validated and they will say there is no bug and will return to you. You have to be a little more precise. It went through second time without entering the city. Oh, see, there is another issue. It is considered positive or negative testing. This is negative because negative is something that when you're doing something which application does not expect. So it expected correct input like everything is correct, it's expected, and that will be positive. But if you did something that the application should not expect and should reject it, then it's negative. Okay, so let's do a 5 minutes break. Lilia says it's boring. What's boring? Let's take a break, guys. 5 minutes we will have, and then we'll continue to the topic. Should you make a new bug report since it means the name of the city? You have to retest if it really happened, because I did not notice it, but if it really happened, then of course, yes, it will be a new bug report. Okay, guys, 6:40. We'll see you in 5 minutes, and we will continue. Okay. Did you put on that case format or Jira? Jira, of course, because it's a bug. Oasis or Blur? I don't know what it is. What's Oasis or Blur, Ben? Guys, we're on break. So you can, if you don't want to go on break, you can put your questions and we can discuss. But otherwise, we're on break, so you're free to do whatever you want to do. We'll come back at 6:45. Ben, I don't know what's Oasis or Blur, but if you will let me know, I can answer. Is the homework and Jira link be accessible after this class ends? After the course or after the class? After class, yes. After the course, I don't know. What is the common mistake new manual QA make? A good question. You know, there is so many common mistakes that manual QA make. I think the most common mistake is that people pay attention on the UI, but they don't pay attention, they don't think through the use cases functionality-wise. And they test the website very nicely and catch the fonts and images and misalignments, but they will not put enough effort into the functional testing, and then it results in many bugs. That's, I think, main problem with the juniors, because they think that it should look good and everything should be like neat and clean, but if it doesn't work in terms of functionality, there is no point to test the UI. So prioritization is the main thing that people need to think of, and functionality first, UI is later. Always, guys, always. It can look bad, but it should work. But it cannot look good and doesn't work. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Hope it answers the question. So Jira is for bugs and test trail is for test cases, correct? That's correct. Yes. Test cases you store in test trail if you have them. But Jira you always use for bugs. They are not really, I mean, it's different software. It's totally not related. As I said, they can be integrated together, but they are not going to be, they are not really related. They are not relatives. One is for storing tests and running them, and another one is to writing the bug, which is completely different things. And you can do either one without ever combining them. After class, yeah, it should be, everything should be accessible, of course, guys. Oasis and Blur were rock bands from England. Okay, the only one I know, I think it's Queen from England. No, I know more than that, but I love Queen. 5 minutes break. Yeah, we are on the break, guys. I told you we are on a break and come back at 6:45, which is, I think, in 1 minute. I'm just answering questions during the break for those who doesn't want the break. How do I take a screenshot on Windows? I don't know. I think you use the snipping tool. And if you go back to the class, which I think was last time, yes, previous class 5, there are tutorials in your study materials, and you have to watch it, because since I'm not using Windows, I don't know, I'm using Mac for many years, guys. So for Mac, on Mac it's very easy, but on Windows the snipping tool is a little tricky, and I know there are tutorials. So go back to last class and watch it. Do you ever edit bug reports instead of writing a new one? Oh, actually, you know what? Karen asked a good question. It's a very bad habit to edit it instead of writing a new one. First of all, every issue should have their own bug report. You only edit it if it's related to the particular issue. Let's say you have this bug which is saying that it's not validating the address. You can edit it, but it's only if you have to add some data for the particular issue. You cannot edit it for a different issue. If there is a different issue, for example, the guys what you saw, that it placed an order without the city, you cannot edit it. It's totally different. So only edit it when it's related to this bug, and never edit it if you just want to save time and not to create a new bug. Very, very bad habit. Don't do that. Okay, so Ben got some tutorials on how to do it on Windows. Snipping tool. Jira is also used for the user stories, correct? That's right. It is. Everyone is very helpful, helping Ben to take the screenshot on Windows. Windows better. It depends, you know. If you know how to work on Windows, it might be better for you. But for many people, especially here in Silicon Valley, and I don't see many people using Windows. I see most of the people using Mac. And in fact, when you get the job, sometimes the company will not even ask you. They might give you Mac computer. That's what I'm seeing last few years. A few years ago, we actually were asked what kind of computer you want. But now what I see is that if the company has, let's say, policy for Macs, you will be given Mac. And unless you request Windows, like, then you might get one, but most of the people get Macs. Here in California, maybe different states will be different. Who will check our job quality? Customer, guys. Customer will check, because if the customer support will start receiving calls saying that this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, guess who will get in trouble? I like your accent. Thank you. I live in US for 15 years, and I was never able to reduce it. So I think I'll keep it all my life. Can I choose Windows? It depends on the company policy. You can request Windows, but it needs to be a special request. So they have to purchase it. Usually they have an inventory to give to people. But if, let's say, they don't have anyone using Windows, no one requested, then they might not have it in inventory. You can request it and see what they say. Because, you know, the last few companies that I worked at, they had a policy, everyone used Mac. So we never were asked. For me, it works because I don't want to switch. I know Mac well. but once when I was at Intel, I came to Intel, it was my first day, and good for me, I had my Mac Air with me. And when I came, I saw that they gave me Windows computer, and I told my manager, hey, can I use my, you guys don't have to buy it, but I can use mine. And he was fine with that. He said, yeah, use whatever you want. But not everyone is so nice. So you can try to request, yeah. What do most of the companies recommend? It depends on state, depends on the company. If you work for Microsoft, then they will not give you Mac. But if you work at Apple, they will give you Mac. Other companies, they will, based on their policy. Who will check our test cases during the course? We will check. It depends who will be have, I think, lesson 10 and 11 for homework testing, and whoever you have as an instructor, they will be checking with you. I don't know if it will be me or not, I'm not sure, but some of the instructors will go through it with you. 5 minutes are over. Yes, it is. Should we have both Mac and Windows? You can, if let's say you have to test on both, then you will have both, yeah, you will be given. Do companies allow you to test at any location with Wi-Fi? For example, can I test while being in another state or country? Not always they have. There are some security issues that might not let you do it. You have to install firewalls and VPNs for that, but each company is different. Are we going to touch Chrome Web Tools? We will discuss it, but there is another video for that, which is you're going to watch at home. How do I get access to Slack? I have trouble creating an account. We have customer support guys here. They will respond. Let me see who. Vishal, can you help? Can you help Moise to get the Slack? Yes, questions are over. Our break as well. I think next time we need to take 10 minutes as everyone does. Anyways, so you done with this one. You filed back for this particular user journey. Now, what you do next? As you noticed, we did not put any card information, right? Because this particular case is the cash on delivery. But you will be testing a lot with the card information, with the credit card. And that's especially important. Now, where do you get the card? I don't hear anyone talking. Someone has mic on. Guys, whoever has mic on, need to turn it off. It stopped. Do you hear me? I hear you. Okay, good. Whoever was talking, turn off your mic, guys. Okay, good. So what I was saying is that if you have to deal with the card testing, then there is a way to get the card numbers, which everyone is able to use. So doesn't matter which company you're at, doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter, because the cards are located here. If you go to, oh, no, not here, I'm gonna just start new. If you go to PayPal, test cards, you will, wow, sorry guys. PayPal test credit card. You will see the first result is from PayPal card testing, you go here and you see the test cards. Everyone see the test cards, right? Now, doesn't matter where you're at. Any company, unless you're specifically given some card information, will be using these cards. What are those? So it has a number which PayPal developers created for anyone who needs to test any payment systems. And these test numbers will work with any testing software, except it will not work on production. So you cannot go on your Amazon and use these cards and place an order because it's not real one. It's all configured for the test websites. And as I said, you don't need to be at PayPal to use them. You can be anywhere, any test website will accept those. Now, what you do with them? Basically, the test numbers are working with any expiration date, which is in the future, and any code, as long as it's 3 digits. Now, the card types is, you see, it's different: American Express, Diners, Maestro, MasterCard, and Visa. So basically, when you deal with the testing of e-commerce, something which has to deal with purchase, placing order, there is some card types that will be accepted and some type cards that will not be accepted, should not be. So to find out which ones, you would have a PRD. In PRD, you would read, let's say, we don't accept American Express, we don't accept Maestro, we accept MasterCard and Visa. If you have a PRD, if you do not have PRD, then you have to ask product managers or developers, are we accepting all the credit card vendors or particular ones we do not accept? If, let's say, they told you, official response, we accept everything except, let's say, American Express. What do you guys do? Do you test American Express or you just skip it because you don't accept it? Test it, correct. No one said that skip it, it's good. I'm glad no one said, otherwise we have to start over. Okay, so everyone knows that they have to test it. You will have positive test for something that has to be accepted, and negative test for something that doesn't have to be accepted and has to be rejected. They equally important. It's not like you think, oh, we're not touching American Express, I'm not gonna test it. You test it, because if it's accepting it, then we are in trouble. It should not. Also, if not accepting, then it should gracefully reject you and it should give you a good explanation instead of, let's say, site will be crashing when you use American Express. Instead, it should give you a nice message that please try a different card. We are not accepting American Express. Now, that's a part of your test, and you have to make sure that you test for it. Not only the functionally not accepting, but also visually giving you good explanation why. When you do this kind of test, think only purely how you would think as a customer. You put your card and it's not accepted, but you don't know why. This is frustrating, right? The customer will start calling and saying, what's going on with your website? I don't understand why it's not working. Instead, it should be presented with the nice message, okay? Message should be clear, saying, hey, this is why, okay? Now, for something which is accepted, you also have to, of course, test. But you see there is a lot of visas, and you don't need to test all. You only test one, the one you like. Any Visa, any MasterCard, which is only one they provide here, any Maestro, if they take it or not, doesn't matter. Any Diners, It's only one, any American Express. So it's not like you're testing every number here. No, you are testing kind. One test per one kind. Accepted, nice. Make sure that clear message is given to you. Not accepted, make sure that it's given the good explanation. Now, if you're really interested in transaction testing, then of course there is more information that you can read from PayPal, because PayPal developer side is useful. You know, you will be reading a bunch of stuff here, and not only using the numbers, but also you can simulate card errors. So sometimes you want to see the error, you want to see how it's going to look like, and then you would just read how to do it. So here it says, to simulate credit card failures, pass rejection trigger, you don't need it, in the first name or name card in your existing advanced credit and debit card payment integration. You must see Visa test card number, for example, this. Use any date and the future. So here I think they will, this is done through API, most likely, because you have to have some rejection trigger. You have to generate it. So if you need to do this, then you will ask developers and say, hey guys, can you give me this rejection trigger? And they will generate it, and you will put it in here. If let's say you have any name field, which you will, and you place an order, and you should see the rejection. This is also can happen. Let's say this rejection can be not because of the card vendor, but some other rejection. You don't really care why, but you need to see what it looks like. So if you have this kind of case, you just say to the developer, hey, can you give me this rejection trigger? Can you generate it? And they, most of the time, they able to. My cat needs to go out. Just 1 second, guys. Sorry, he needed to go out. He was sitting whole day in the room, and now I think he got hungry. Poor guy got sick. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say tested. This is for my cat issue or for the card? If for the card, then you need to test it. Yeah. I suggest that you, when you test anything dealing with cards, paying, you test very well. Just do your best. Do not test the cat, please. Yeah, he should not be tested, guys. He is already older and poor guy is sick. So, response codes. So you don't really need it right now, but if you will be dealing with APIs, you will see this kind of statuses as declined because they pass some value. Okay, this is not eligible. So see, they generate different kind of situations, but if you need to do such a deep testing, then developers will tell you how. Usually they need to be it needs to be done, it needs to be generated through APIs, or you might try the existing ones. So for existing ones, here, rejection triggers. If you want to, let's say, test fraud, then the trigger will be this one. You just have to put this as in the name of the customer and use the card from the list, from this list, and I'm assuming it will be any card because they're all programmed to reject as a fraud, for example, right? So the trigger will be this, and you use it as a customer name. When you send this data to the server knows that because it sees this value, it will reject and it will say it's fraud, right? And the response code, you might see this one, but it's really this is very good testing to do, and I suggest that you, when you have time, just sit and read it, because it's pretty straightforward. Let's say card is declined, you want to simulate it. You will put this trigger in the name of the customer, and you will use any card, and you try to place an order, and you will see that it will return that card is declined. And so, most of the times, you really need to check all of these rejection triggers. For example, insufficient funds. What if someone places an order for big amount of money, but his card or her card doesn't have as much? You have to test for insufficient funds. And for this, PayPal did a great job. They actually programmed those cards to get rejected for this particular reasons. And if I would be you and I was you at some point, I was testing most of those just because it's real situations. People will be using different cards, and sometimes, you know, PayPal may change something here, but you can always read what's new and test it by what they say. Super useful, very important tests. And if, let's say, you work with someone who doesn't know this, always share this website, the developer.paypal, because they for all the testing which has to do with the cards and stuff, this is the place to go to. You don't have to generate your own card numbers. You don't have to ask developers. You just go here and get from here. Will we learn API? I don't know if you in this course learn API, because I'm not teaching API. Maybe someone else does. API is pretty straightforward. It's really not difficult. So even if you don't have it in this course, I think there is so many information that you can look through. It just, API is not essential for the manual QA. We do work with API, but when we have to, and when we have to, usually developers will show us how to do that. And really, as I said again, I just look at API, what it is online, but most of the time you will be shown how to do that. Now, the next thing that you're, any questions you guys have about how to use this credit cards, how to check the rejections, all the stuff? Looks like lesson number 9, maybe. I don't think I'm teaching number 9. Oh, good. Okay, so you will spend maybe day 2, 3 testing main user scenarios. You will go and this one second. You will go through all the functionality that you can think of. You will file a bunch of bugs. At some point, you will know that the most of the functionality for this website you have tested. You filed bugs, they're being fixed. Then it's time to look for non-functional, which is UI testing, because it's also very important. And some things you will think UI is, you know, not that important. But for example, if you have the company logo and you know that it should look like, for example, like this, but it's not, then you have to file it as soon as you notice it, because company logo is very important. Even though it's just the UI element, for the company, it's very important thing, you know. And if, let's say you go to, I don't know, you go to PayPal and their logo is this, and you see that it's something completely different, you have to file it right away. You know why? What's your guess? Why logo is so important? I'm curious if one of you will be creative. Their brand, right? Yes. Represents the entire company, yes. Is the identity, right? Security, exactly. That's what I wanted you guys to point. If you see that it's different logo, the people might think that it's not the same company. Someone is trying to copy and steal the data. So if you see, exactly, could be fraud, exactly. If you see that the logo is not matching, that's a really bad bug. Yeah, it's not functional, but it's super important. If you go to Apple website and you see the logo, it's weird, you're probably not going to place an order, right? You're not going to give your data to someone who you don't know. And logo is the representation of the true company. Of course, someone can make it really close, right? And you might not notice. But on your test website, you have to make sure that the logo is exactly the same as your company is using. And for that, you will make an effort. You need to make sure. If it's not, if it's at least slightly different color, slightly different font, it's a very bad bug. It doesn't look secure, exactly. The website could be compromised, exactly. So you guys know that. I'm surprised that the first class that actually given such a solid response. Usually people think that, well, it doesn't look good, but not many people think of security, and the customer thinks of security. So it's great that you guys really pointed it. Always look at the logo. It's as important as having the certificate. This is the identity of the company. Now, of course, you have lots of UI element, but by the way, clicking on logo should always redirect you to the home page. And that's a test that you have to also do. So now, UI part is a piece of cake, right? You don't really struggle because you see head cut off, you take a picture right away, you file it, right? You click shop now, because that's what customer will do. I'm clicking, it's not working. Is it a bad bug? It is a bad bug because customers will click, not working. You take a picture, you file it. You keep going. Here you see that it doesn't have that translation. You take a picture, you file it right away. You go Jira backside, Jira back on the side, and that's how you do it. Then later, looking here, you see that the image is overlapping with the text. It's a Jira. Text is actually misplaced. It should not be like in 3 lines. It should be in 2. Take a picture, send it to the developers. Shop now takes you to up of the here to the beginning of the site. I don't know if it should, probably not. Also file it, but you need to know the expected results. So you need to know where is it going, and for that you need designs. So if you're not sure where it's going, just look at the designs or ask someone. Okay. Now you don't need to test everything that they have on the website in terms of inventory, because if it works for one, mostly it works for another one. If it doesn't work for one, pretty much we can think that it's not working for many of the things or all. Now, usually what we do, we test one item per category. Let's say for women, we will pick one and test it, place an order. For men, we will go and test one. Let's say if they have kids, also we will do and test one. So we always try to cover as much as we can, but of course we cannot do everything. So just try to do one per category. Now, very important to have correct search, because search might be, it might be messed up. Let's say we know that they have blue dress, right? Because it says here that we have blue dress. Let's look for blue dress. Blue, let's say blue. And let's see what it shows us. Blue denim, okay. Blue thinner, okay. blue, dark blue, blue sunglasses. So far, so good. You know, for blue, it's searched. Let's see if we can filter. Let's say we want to have brown. I'm curious if we'll have anything brown. Nothing. That doesn't look right. Let's try to search for brown here. Ah, see, they have brown, but when you search through here, somehow it's not pulling it. So you will need to also file it and say that when you filter, some colors are not showing up, even though when you just search normal way, it shows up. This is brown, this is brown. Let's say we want to look gray. No products. Let's see gray here. I'm pretty sure there should be something. Great. Oh, see? So it's reproducible. It happens every time. So when you showing results here, filter, yeah, it's not showing the exact results because we already look for the particular one. But in that case, this menu should not be available. This either or. Either it has to be changing the, clearing the selection and show you everything in, let's say, brown, or it has to redirect you to the main search. But the thing that we have the drop down available, and it's not sorting by the color, even though there are colors, it's pretty inconvenient. I will not say that it's super bad bug, it's just inconvenient. Let's say you want to look for, I don't know, t-shirt. No products. And I don't believe it. I know there is a t-shirt. That's weird. Okay, what about short? Short is showing. Oh, because look, t-shirt is 2 words. But if I'm as a customer typing t-shirt with one, it should still present me with the t-shirt results. That's a bug that you might want to file. Now, anyone sees any weird thing on this page? Uneven frames, alignment, right. All the faces are cut off on the picture. Good catch, okay. The faces are cut off, yes. Okay, so see, just one page has faces are cut off on all of them, but you're not going to file JIRAs for each. You will take a screenshot and send it to developers with JIRA saying all the images are having cut off faces. Maybe this is per design. Maybe they want it to be like this. So you need to find out. You can ask the designer saying, hey, are we expecting this? If let's say we don't have designs, are we expecting? If designer looks at it and says, no, we do not, then you file a JIRA. If designer looks at it and says, yeah, but actually we think it's good. So no one gets distracted just to show the clothing. Maybe, but you need to check. For the misalignments though, you always have to make sure it's aligned. So you file it. You file it and you say the misalignment all over the place, and you just tell the developer how to get here. So you search for something, it will pop up the multiple results, and you will see how misaligned it is. Pretty much. Those issues, there could be a lot of them because this is just one page, but you can imagine that if it has multiple pages, how many things you have to test, right? And file and then retest and prepare the test cases later on, you still will have to have them. So there is a lot, all the drop downs, all the links, all the selections. You have to make sure that you take care of it. Can we do screen write? You mean screen recording? Yes, you can. So you write one bug report per screenshot, not for each individual bug. No, if that's the same issue, then you put all the screenshots into one bug. But if it's the same issue, let's say you have misalignment on many pages, so you can just take a few screenshots where you find the misalignment and put them in the same bug. Some people create separate JIRAs, but I think if that's the same issue, then it can be one JIRA. But if it's different issues, let's say sorting is not working and the misalignments also, then you cannot put it in one. It will be two. Will this information about UI be in the PRD or we ask the developer? It should be in designs. So we usually have PRD, which might not have screenshots of the designs. And design document, it's a different document which will be given to you to compare. So you open the designs and you compare to the website, and that's much easier if they have the design documents. Most of the companies will, some will not. So if it doesn't have the design document and developers actually designing it, it will be bad design, I'm telling you. But if the developers do that, then you have to file it and send back to developer and say, hey, guys, I know you're not designers, but this is unacceptable. You have to fix it. So in ideal world, in the correct way, you will have design documents and you will compare. That way you can send that JIRA and point to design and say, that's how it's supposed to be. But if you do not, and you see that it's clearly not good, then you send back to devs and say, guys, fix it. Also, you only ask developer if there is really no PRD, because if there is a PRD, you look in the PRD, because the developers will also look in PRD. To be on the safe side, should I write a bug or reach out, for example, to the designer or the manager? Please, what is the best way to ask questions? Oh, it depends. So it depends which questions. If, let's say, you have a question for the PRD, let's say you don't have PRD. In that case, of course, you would have to ask a product owner, product manager. You can email, or you can just come to their desk if you're in the office and say, hey, I'm seeing this, what do you think? And they can tell you, yeah, it's kind of not looking good, just file it and we will fix it. Or they can say, leave it like that, we don't really care. Of course, you don't have to go with every question to the product owner. Something is pretty easy to figure out on your own, just to see maybe some documents available, designer available, or maybe your teammates know the answer. But if not, then you would ask for questions for at the product manager desk or email to them. So pretty much your always best bet is to look for documentation. You look for documentation, you try to source designs, you try to source PRDs, Confluence. Remember, I guys showed you where Confluence is. It's in the JIRA. If you go to JIRA, there is a Confluence, and you click on it and you will see the library of things. We don't have anything here, but usually people will do. And here you can look. So you try to do it on your own, but if, let's say, you cannot find nothing, then you ask the product or the designer. Okay, any more questions, guys? If not, then let me show you quickly the rest of the website. So look, when you go till the end, you always have to look through the very end, because there could be copyright issues. You see, it's 2020 copyright. Cannot be. Right now it's 2023. Copyright has to be always current. Always check for copyright. Sometimes they forget to change it and it doesn't look good, and it's a big thing actually. So you always look for copyright. You look for contacts. It can be really just a placeholder here. It can be the data which is not even relevant. Always look what contacts we have, because see, on the top here, we have the email and phone number, which doesn't look like it's a real one. So the company cannot have this. Why we have this? Because developers didn't have the data. They just put a placeholder, give it to you. And if you do not check it, it can go like this to production. And the customer will try to reach you out on this number. And this cannot be like this. Also, if your company moved, your company changed the address, you have to make sure it's changed, because if it's not, then it's bad. Now, also, if you are looking, for example, here, the blog, fashion news. Any one of you guys speak Latin here? Any medics? No. Okay. So exactly, the customer does not also. Why we use Latin? You will see a lot of Latin. Why? Because we use it as a placeholder. When we don't have this, articles to put in data or any other articles, but we need to test how it's going to look like. Does it fit? Does it go over the boundary? We use Latin. And you will see it. It's not like they use Latin, but no one else did. We do. You have to make sure that the customer doesn't see it, though, because if you see that it happens, then you have to file it and say that blog is not translated. So if, let's say, you don't have this article for some reason, it doesn't show, it should not be showing at all. Like it should just be gone from their view. You cannot give it as like this, right? If, let's say, you click on it, you expect that it expands, you want to read that, you keep clicking, nothing is working, so it's a bug. You have to file and say, clicking on the article name is not really directing nowhere. But this will be different issue, this will be different issue. You're not filing as one, you're filing as two. However, for the issue of same kind, let's say this one, that, which it just did. Where did I click? Where did I click? So it's disappeared. I'm curious now. Okay, you need to, when this happens, then you need to see how did you do it, because see, one time it happens, but now I don't know how I did it. Where did I click? I just need to click everywhere now. Anyways, what I was saying, of the issue, for the issue, see, fresh in the bed in a beautiful way. So if you click on some of the articles, the site cannot be reached. See, and then it refreshes to some weird page. I think this is the article. So did you see? This, of course, needs to be filed. I clicked on some article name. First, it says that it cannot be reached, and then it opens. So, of course, it cannot be like that. You have to file it, but you have to reproduce it, because see, to me, it happened accidentally. So now I know. You just need to click on the particular article, because you will need to tell the developer how did it happen, because you tell him, oh, that happened. They will say, we don't know how, and that's it. Just go get lost. Tell us how to get there. That's what they will tell you. So where is that the bed? Fresh in the bed. Okay, so if I click, oh, now it opens. I think the first time it fails, second time it opens. So you need to write it down in the Jira as well. Nice catch. See how many bugs I could file on just doing this. Now, you keep looking. Here you see friendly people, excellent place to shop. Stephanie, Johnny. She doesn't look like she's Johnny. And this is Diana. Yeah. See, so they messed up. They need to have, this is Diana. It's not Johnny, and this is Johnny. So you will have to file and say that those guys, whoever they are, names are not matching. The description, all the furniture we bought is still in great shape. There is no furniture. So if, let's say, you look for, I don't know, sofa, let's see. Yeah, no product. So there is no furniture. So the text is wrong. It's misleading. Also have to file. And as you understand, there will be multiple pages. It's not just one page. There will be multiple pages, multiple drop downs, multiple my wish list, my account, checkout, all those things you test. Not in one day. For a few days, you can just do exploratory testing and catch all. Then later on, you will be sitting and writing your test cases. It will be opposite way, because in ideal world, test cases will be done, but in the real world, sometimes they are not. So then you will create them later on. But if you need to test it before you have test cases, that's how you do that. Now, there is one more thing, which is a web tool that we are using for other testing. I'm going to show you guys really quickly, because there is a video in your learning portal, which is very, very detailed tutorial how to use it. But I'll show you how to get there. So if you need to test, let's say, different devices, different screens, and you don't have the devices, then what you do, in Chrome browser, you open your site, and you do right click, and you go to inspect. You see this tool opens. And in this tool, there is a lot of good things which you want to pay attention to. For example, the colors, the heights, margins, if you need to measure something. I honestly don't like doing it, but some people really excited to check this tool out. Let's say the color code and all these, you might want to check them if, let's say, you see them in the designs and you need to validate them. So they are all here. In console, you also can see some errors. Let's say for this one, we have some connection refused. We had an error here. In sources, we also have some useful information, and we're not going to go through it now because it will be difficult for you right now to accept it, because it's a lot of information. But in your in the video which is given to you in your learning portal, everything is explained. Now, here we have the calls which are going, which we are sending the calls and receiving the responses. So it's very useful. And it's very useful. Watch the video. Now, let's say you want to test the site in different screen sizes. Then you would click here. And let me put this one down. And here you select the screen size that you want to use. Let's say you need to test on iPhone SE, but you don't have it on hand. You don't have it. You just need to see what it's looking like. Then if you select this dimension, it will give you the ability to see what it's going to look like if you use iPhone SE. And you see that there is lots of overlapping. It's not nice because it's a small screen, right? But it still should not be so bad. So if you need to test on iPhone SE and you do it like this, you file the JIRA saying on iPhone SE, it doesn't look good. It looks crowded, everything is jammed, and you can still place an order. You can go through it and you can do the same, choose an option. You see, like, all that you can do is that it's very small and not very easy to use. So it's I mean, it's pretty much the same. What you're testing here is not as much of functionality as you are testing the screen sizes. Let's say iPad Air will look nice, right? And it depends which screen size you want to use, but that's how you would do it if you don't have devices in hand. This is just one of the things that you can do in this tool, but the real thing here, which you want to learn, is how to use the network, because we have the logs here and all the things. So go on your learning portal and look at the special video that Yuri, I think it was Yuri, he recorded, and you will know what this tool is capable of. It's a cool tool. And again, to get in, you would have to be in Chrome browser. You load your website, right click, inspect, and you get your stuff. Here, if you want to see different sizes, you click on this icon and select the font that you want. That's showing you how it's going to look like. And for all these colors and stuff, also good to have, not that we do it much often, but sometimes we have to verify something, so it's easy to see in here. Okay, guys. Now let's see what you're welcome, guys. And my computer today is misbehaving. I want to make sure I didn't miss any question. Natalia, are you working remotely? Right now I am, yes. I am working remotely now. What if someone missed? Well, if someone missed the bug, then someone else will discover it. Hopefully it's not a bad bug, and hopefully not the customer. But again, you know, there is no bug-free software. There is software which doesn't have the critical bugs because it's well tested. So you need to make sure that you get to that acceptable quality, but you cannot have 0 bugs. That's impossible. Very cool. I suppose this will be used pretty often. We use it. Yeah, we do use it. That's why I told you guys watch the video. It's not long video. I think it's maybe like 20 or 30 minutes, but it's really, really cool. Done by the best instructor. How much time usually they given you for testing a website like this? It really depends. It depends when you come. Let's say you came and you started work and they have released in a week. Then they will tell you, okay, test it fast. But usually it will be, it will be enough time. How do we access how-to homework document in our learning space? I'm not sure, guys. We have to ask customer support. I'm not sure. It will be available probably tomorrow, maybe. Good night, guys. Thank you, Natalia. Good night, all. Welcome, guys. I hope it was useful for you. I know it was lots of information. That's why you might want to rewatch this class once in a while, refresh your memory. But I hope it made sense. I hope now you have a good understanding of how you test if you don't really have test cases, and what the exploratory testing is. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm trying to see if I didn't miss any questions. Enjoy your evening, you too. Thank you. Have a good night. Okay, I'll stick here for a minute if you have questions. If not, then you are welcome to disconnect, guys. Welcome, Ben. Seems like no questions. That's very nice. If there is no questions, then I'm assuming you guys are good. It was interesting. Nice, I'm glad you liked it. I try to make it not boring. Good night, everyone. Yeah, okay. No questions. Well, guys, thank you for today. Thank you for sticking for 2 hours, even more than that. I will see you later in this course. And if anything you have, just email and we will sort it out. Okay? Good night. Okay, guys. You're welcome.